Hello, this is Alfonso Todd with 5 minutes of flavor in the GSS, the grown, sexy, and sober. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Dick Nepon. Hello, Mr. Nepon. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
Alfonso.
Good. We really appreciate you coming in today. Today he's going to give us some information about something that's going on in Allentown that's very important. He actually is a mayoral candidate. So we want to get some insight into his mind in regards to exactly what he wants to do with Allentown and what he is about as the person and figure. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Nippon.
Well, I wasn't born in Allentown, but I've been here since I was about a year old. And I grew up going to the Allentown schools. I graduated from actually Moravian Prep School.
Okay.
Uh, Long story, but I graduated 30th in my class. There were 30 people in the class. But I used to tell people I was a graduate of the library in Allentown because I spent most of my senior year going to the library and reading through it.
Hmm.
Uh, and From there, I left town. I was out of town for maybe 12, 13 years and came back, and I've been here since 1989 and been active in the community here since 1989.
What are some of the things that you did that got you active in the community?
Well, 'cause one of the first things I did was I joined the volunteer fire department, not in Allentown, but in a neighboring community, because I had been a volunteer fireman when I was out of town in New Jersey. And I've been doing that now for 30 years as a volunteer fireman. But I also got active in the arts community because I've been a supporter of the arts for as long as I've been myself,
Oh, okay.
which is pretty much all my life. And I got active. I had a picture framing studio and a photo studio along with my wife, and that led me to be active with a group that was called the Open Space Gallery, which some of you may remember from Hamilton Street in Allentown. One of the offshoots of the Open Space Gallery was the theater outlet, which began at the Open Space Gallery, went on to its own location on Hamilton Street between 8th and 9th, and eventually ended up at 9th Street between Linden and Hamilton, where it was for many years, providing really high-class theater, though what I term dangerous theater, to the citizens of Allentown and the Lehigh Valley. So we had just excellent actors and excellent programs. It was well attended, and it was through that actually that I got even more involved in politics, because when the city was trying to put up a hockey arena where the PPL building is now, they were trying to put us out of business.
Oh, wow.
And I fought very hard to keep us in business, and I was successful in keeping us in business. But I didn't make myself very popular with that mayor.
No. Have a habit.
It was also at that time that I ran for and got elected to the school board. Now that sounds pretty normal, except for when you consider that I had homeschooled my own kids. And when I moved back to Pennsylvania, I put my kids in public school and got active in trying to reform public school and change it to the point where I worked for the school district as a strategic planner.
Okay.
And eventually ran for school director and was elected and served a 4-year term on the school board, trying to make change. And so that was another way that I was active in the community. During that time, I also was active in a group called Alticon, which was made up of businessmen as well as political people, both on city council and other places, that was trying to promote the technology growth into Allentown, that we could differentiate ourselves from other communities.
Was that similar to the Ben Franklin, or was that?
It was not at all similar. We were trying to create a differentiation from other communities by bringing technology at the cutting edge into Allentown.
Okay.
PPL at that time was talking about creating a fiber network that they've since abandoned. There was a lot of fiber available running up and down Hamilton Street, and there were things that we could have done with it to offer what's now taken for granted, but in those days was rare, to find high-speed fiber optics.
So you were kind of ahead of your time then.
I've always been ahead of my time.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's painful.
Oh, okay.
And we were very active in that, and one of the outcomes of that was I wrote, it's not exactly a grant application, it was a letter of application to what was then Al Gore's Reinventing Government. And as a result of that, I was proposing that Allentown was a good place to join this movement that he was creating called Best Communities.
Oh, so it was almost like a technological movement?
No, it was really communities that were doing things very well, and it was a chance for communities to interact with each other and game plan together, solve problems together, and promote each other. And Allentown ended up being one of the 13 cities in the country that was chosen for that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was not long before Gore lost the election for president, and we changed over. And surprisingly, what we were doing in the group was so beneficial that out of all the things in Al Gore's Reinventing Government, our group got chosen, the Best Communities group got chosen to continue on with the George Bush administration.
Oh, okay.
And we worked for the Department of Education. And it was more or less at that point about job retraining and adult education. But I did get to travel around the country and go to a lot of meetings and lead a lot of meetings, telling people about how to create networks in their community to retrain people, and especially to introduce technology. And there was a lot about setting up networks in church basements and things like that. It was before the big push for what were they called, the non-governmental organizations,
based
the
initiative.
religious,
the faith-based initiative.
Faith-based initiatives.
I got you.
FBIs.
I never heard of that. But FBI, faith-based. Yeah, that's good though. I never heard of that. But yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, we can stop.